You know that chocolate bar you love? Ever stop to think about what story is hiding inside that wrapper? Well, today we're going to unwrap the secrets behind the price of our favorite treats. And get this, it's not just going to change how you see your snacks, it's also perfect prep for your next exam. So, you ready? Let's dive in. So, it really all boils down to this one simple question. But trust me, the answer is anything but simple. When you hand over your money for a chocolate bar, where does it actually go? I mean, who gets the biggest slice of the pie? And who gets left with just the crumbs? Come on, let's find out. All right, to even begin to answer that, we've got to wrap our heads around the massive world of global trade. So in this first section, we're going to look at the two huge forces that are always at play, the problem of unfairness and, on the flip side, the movement that's fighting for fairness. So what's the real problem here? Well, it usually starts with the whole system being, well, a bit lopsided. See, wealthier countries and these massive companies, they're the buyers, right? They have all the power to set the prices for raw materials, stuff like cacao beans. And when they push those prices way, way down, the countries that actually grow and produce this stuff just can't make enough money to grow and develop themselves. And the knock-on effect of that, it's really devastating. You've got workers getting paid wages so low they can hardly survive. You have kids who are forced to work instead of going to school. And when there's barely any money coming into the country, well, there's just not enough to build the things everyone needs, like schools or hospitals. It's a real domino effect. Okay, so this whole situation really creates two opposing sides. On one side, you have exploitation. That's the big problem. And on the other side, you've got fair trade, which is the movement trying to be the solution. Let's break down exactly what we mean by these two terms. Fair trade at its heart has a really simple goal. It's all about creating a system where the producers, the farmers, the workers, and developing countries get paid a fair and, really importantly, a stable price for their work and their products. It's just about making sure the folks at the very beginning of the whole process get their rightful share. Seems simple enough, right? Now, exploitation, that's the dark side of the coin. It's pretty much what it sounds like. It's when people are treated unfairly and selfishly just so someone else can make a bigger profit. We're talking about paying workers almost nothing or making them work in dangerous conditions for crazy long hours. But when fair trade works, it creates this incredible ripple effect. It's amazing. When fair prices are paid, everything starts to change for the better. Suddenly, workplaces are safer. Kids actually get to go to school. And this part is really cool. There's extra money. It's called a social premium that gets invested right back into the community. It's like a community fund that they control, and they get to vote on what they need most, whether it's a new well for clean water, a clinic, or a school. Okay, so now we've got the big ideas down, right? Fair trade versus exploitation. Let's get back to our main suspect, the chocolate bar. It's time to see how all of this actually plays out in the real world. All right, just take a look at this chart. This breaks down where every cent of your money goes when you buy a chocolate bar. And yeah, you can see the huge slices go to the big chocolate company and the shop that sells it, but I want you to look really closely at the other slices. See how tiny they are? Just 7%, that's it. That is all that goes back to the cacao farmer. The actual person who plants the seeds, takes care of the trees, and harvests the single most important ingredient. The whole thing starts with them, and yet they get one of the smallest pieces of the pie. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Now, compare that tiny 7% to this. 40%. That's what goes to the company that just processes the beans and makes the chocolate bar. 40%. That is nearly 6 times more than the farmer who did all the groundwork in the first place. Okay, so this isn't just about chocolate, Let's see how these same ideas apply to other products. In this next section, we're going to get super practical and really see how value, work, and price all connect. All right, picture this. Someone is weaving a beautiful basket by hand. Let's just do the math together. Let's say they get paid just 5 Rand for the finished basket, and it took them 3 hours to make it. So we take that R5 divided by 3 hours, and their hourly wage comes out to a shocking 1 Rand and 66 cents per hour. Okay, but now that same basket is sold in a shop for 12 Rand. So here's the big question. Is that fair? And honestly, it's a tricky one. Of course, the shop has costs, right? Rent, paying its staff. But is that huge gap between what the person who made it earns and the final price really justified? What do you think? Okay, let's flip the script for a second and look at pricing from the business owner's side.
Imagine you're the one selling milkshakes. Let's say the ingredients for one shake cost you 17 Rand. Now, you need to make a profit to stay in business, so you decide to add a 50% markup. Half of 17 is 850, so you add that on and your final selling price is 25 Rand and 50 cents. The big takeaway here is just that the final price you pay is always a mix of the actual cost to make something plus the profit that's added on top. All right, we've looked at chocolate bars and baskets. Now, let's zoom out, way out. Let's talk about the bigger picture, how entire countries trade with each other. This part is all about learning the lingo of global economics.
Here are 3 keywords you absolutely have to know. First, international trade. Super simple, it's just trade between different countries. Next, imports. Those are the goods a country buys from other places. And exports are the goods a country sells to others. And hey, here's a super easy way to remember it. Exports are exiting the country. See? Easy. So why do these words even matter? Well, here's the thing. It is way, way better for a country's economy to export manufactured goods, we call those secondary products, instead of just raw materials. Think about it. Turning cacao beans into actual chocolate bars in the country where they're grown, that creates jobs, it adds so much more value, and it brings a ton more money into their economy. Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. So for our final section, let's do a super quick, rapid-fire review of all the essential terms you're going to need to know. Seriously, think of this next slide as your ultimate cheat sheet for the exam. And here it is. Let's just quickly run through it. A primary product? That's your raw materials, like the cacao beans. A secondary product? That's the manufactured good, like the finished chocolate bar. Services are the work people do for others. Think doctors or teachers. And skills are what you need to learn to do those jobs well. Honestly, pause the screen right here, take a picture or a screenshot. This is your perfect study guide, all in one place. So we started this whole journey with a simple chocolate bar, and we're going to end it with a challenge for you. Because now you know the hidden story behind the price. The next move is really yours. The next time you're in a store, what are you going to look for on the label? What story are you going to choose to support?